Hey, Bridgetown Church, this is Christian Dawson from Northwest University, right outside Seattle, Washington. I'm standing in today for John Mark Comer, and this is the Bridgetown Daily. I want to take a second and just say how thankful I am for the people of Bridgetown and who you are and all that you mean to people in my city in particular. You've been such a light to and for followers of Jesus in the Northwest. In so many different ways that you don't even realize. And so it's evident that God is doing something beautiful and deep and enriching in your community, and it is reaching out to people all over the Northwest and truly the world. And so thank you for being who you are. I love you, family. Now, today, it is Tuesday, May 5th. Yesterday was May the 4th. Be with you. Today is Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is one of the most memorable holidays to me simply because it's a fantastic name. If you're not fluent in Spanish, it literally translates 5th of May. So you never have to worry about when it is or what the date is. You always know by the very name, it's Cinco de Mayo. Today is a day to celebrate. And, with that being said, I think today is worth celebrating. And no, I'm not really just talking about Cinco de Mayo in particular. I just mean today and really every day. Today is another day that we're alive. I mean, we're sucking air today. Take a deep breath. Let it out. The oxygen going through your nostrils, filling your lungs, giving energy to all the systems in your body. That is a gift from God. God gives you the air that you need for every single moment. It's not just the universe. It's not just nature. It's not just biology. It's God who sustains all things. If you even want to know how God feels about you, about his posture towards you right now in this moment, you can take a deep breath and realize that that gift is a sign that God is loving and kind and generous towards you. He really actually just gives you what you need. The very air that our bodies need is a reminder that God provides for us in every single moment. That idea is actually the very center of Jesus's greatest teaching. His most famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount, it's the center of the greatest teacher's greatest teaching. It's the small moment where Jesus affirms the reality that God gives his people what they need. Do you remember his words? He actually taught his followers to talk with God about it. This is what he said. When you pray, don't babble like the Gentiles. They imagine that they'll be heard for their many words. Don't be like them, because your Father knows the things you need before you even ask him. Therefore, you should pray like this. Our Father in heaven, your name be honored as holy. Your kingdom come and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. This prayer has been prayed repeatedly by millions of Christians for thousands of years. I've probably said it more times than I can remember, yet recently it became fresh to me again. Often something familiar, it can become very fresh from a new context. That's how I feel because of COVID-19. A lot of the things that are familiar, even in scripture, have meant something so different and so fresh to me in this season. And give us this day our daily bread is one of those things. Have you ever thought about, that part of Jesus' prayer? Give us this day our daily bread. In it, Jesus invites his followers to ask God for the sustenance they need each day. It's an invitation to be dependent on God. But in many ways, I want the opposite. I won't probably verbalize it too often, but in the back of my mind, I often try to live a life that's self-sustained and self-made and self-sufficient. Yet Jesus invites his followers. He invites me and he invites you into a life that actually becomes more and more dependent upon God. It's kind of a weird way to live when you say it like that, but maybe he's onto something. Maybe he's right. Maybe that's the actual way to life. Now, the Greek word for daily and daily bread is epiousios. It doesn't mean just daily as in today at 9 a.m. I do the same thing as tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's not daily only in that regard. More specifically, it means necessary for existence. In other words, God gives us this day the food that we need to exist. God gives us what we need to make it moment by moment, right here, right now, moment by moment. Jesus is actually teaching us through prayer that God wants and he does provide what we need for right now. Now, this probably sounds really simple. It's like a no dud. Did you really need to pull up the Greek for that? But just think about it for a moment. God gives me what is necessary for this moment, and dare I say, this moment only. He's not yet given me what I need for the future or tomorrow or even later today. God has given me what I need for this moment. He provides for me right here and right now. A lot of my problems in life, they stem from me getting too wrapped up in the future. They really stem from me giving my present moment to my future worries. More specifically, a lot of my problems come from me not believing that God will provide for me in the future. They come because I really don't trust and believe that God is providing for me moment by moment. I've had, plenty of time over the past few weeks to think about my future and my present. I mean, if COVID has done anything for me and it's done anything in my life, it's given me some real introspective feels, It's gotten me in some of those moments. And let's just be honest. Fine, I'll be honest. Like being 28 and single while living alone and pastoring from home, it's easy for me to get uptight in these moments about my future and really about my present. I work with about 1,000 college students in Seattle, and for the past weeks, I've processed dozens of fears, worries, losses, and griefs. All of them pretty legitimate. And as I've listened to other stories and wrestled with my own, I've noticed that the question behind every question really is, will God take care of me? Will he really provide what I need? Is he going to be generous and kind? Is he going to handle this moment and the next? When I'm slow enough and I'm honest enough to examine myself, I realize that there are places in the back of my mind and deep in my heart that I'm really not so sure that I really, really trust that God is providing what I need moment by moment. I get concerned that God might be holding out on me. I'm not so sure that the things God is withholding from me right now are the things I really don't need. I have moments where I struggle to trust that God sees and he's generous and he's going to provide moment by moment. That's just me. What about you? If you took a moment to examine your own heart or reflect on your thoughts from the past few days or maybe the past hours or moments, maybe there's places where you've thought deep down, God isn't going to take care of fill in the blank. God really isn't going to be generous with this. He may be holding out on me in that. He won't provide moment by moment. He doesn't really give daily bread. And what do we do from there? Well, we devise plans on how to make it all happen ourselves because, if I already think God's not going to take care of it, then I have to. And so I imagine providing for myself moment by moment, which really only leaves me more uptight because then all of my life is up to me and it's all on my shoulders. And so what I have to do is actually slow down and realize that a lot of my fears, and I have to own it, that a lot of my fears and my frustrations and my problems and my pain really stem from me believing deep down that I have to make my life happen. They stem from me not trusting that God is going to take care of me moment by moment. And it's in that light that those worries and those doubts, it's in light of that Jesus teaches us to pray, give us this day our daily bread. Jesus teaches us both to ask and realize that God provides what we need for each moment. It's interesting even that Jesus' most famous words on worry are right after his most famous teaching on prayer, which may be to show that worry for tomorrow and prayer in the present are deeply connected. God provides what's necessary for existence right now. He provides our daily bread. And so we have to learn to be present to that. Jesus doesn't want us caught up in the future. He's got that. He wants us right now in the present, realizing that he's an ever-present help in time of trouble. He takes care of the present. He takes care of us moment by moment. In the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis writes, and he shares kind of the thoughts of an elder demon sharing with a younger demon. He says, the humans live in time, but our enemy destines them to eternity. He, therefore, I believe, wants them to attend chiefly to two things, to eternity itself and to that point of time which they call the present. For the present is the point at which time touches eternity. He would therefore have them continually concerned either with eternity, which means being concerned with him, or with the present, either meditating on their eternal union with him, or else obeying the present voice of his conscience, or bearing the present cross, receiving the present grace, and giving thanks for the present pleasure. Family, God is taking care of us in this present moment. He's providing what we need moment by moment. Could you imagine what your life would look like and what our lives would look like if the baseline starting place of every thought was that God is generous and that he's going to provide what we need? What would that do to our fears and our worries? What would that do to our compulsions and our coping? What would that do to our anger and our need for justice, to our sadness and our grief, to our hopes and to our dreams? Imagine what your life would look like. What would my life look like if I took time each moment to trust that God is going to provide moment by moment? What if I really trusted that Jesus, he provides daily bread, and that he even is our daily bread? I think all of life might just be an invitation to trust. Trust Jesus. And he's got this moment and he'll have the next. A lot of times we spend time praying and asking God to take care of the next moment. But today I just want us to take a moment and to posture ourselves to just thank God for all the ways that he's already provided and taken care. What is that for you today? How has God shown up and provided for you in the last day, maybe in the last week, in the last month? How's God provided for you and shown up in the little moments today? Maybe just thank him for those things. Now ask and consider, what would it look like for God to show up and provide for you right now, for this moment, and for the next one, and for the next one. Encourage your family. Trust Jesus. He's got this moment, and he'll have all the ones after that.